disappointing loss against a team that really I was impressed with. We knew it was a problem coming in. They were in the championship game of their conference tournament last year. And you, number one, have to credit Southern for their toughness, for them coming out here and really taking it at us on our home floor. Those kids really showed a lot of resolve and toughness. Again, our biggest issue is our defense. I mean, we allowed them to shoot 57% in the first half when, you know, we should be playing our best defense, and really had issues. And so we've just got to get back to teaching real, just simple concepts, because we're struggling when we go to help defensively, rotating down, and them getting second shot putbacks. You know, you got to credit Rogers, number 2. He was phenomenal in the first half, was making some tough shots, but you got to make him put it on the floor after he's made 2 or 3 you know, in our face. But our defense was really what we struggled with, and then also, you know, too many turnovers, 19 turnovers to 8. So when you only have a team that you're guarding and defending with 8 turnovers, there's obviously not a lot of ball pressure. We're not forcing any turnovers on their end. And then we end up with 19 turnovers. And the other key for us offensively in the second half and in the game overall, way too many threes. Half our shots are threes, and we're not even playing against the zone. So there's way too many three-pointers attempted. Part of that, though, is dictated by their defense, because they play what is called a pack line defense, where they're really inside in the perimeter, and when you're trying to drive, they're switching ball screens and just staying in front of it and flattening out our drives. We didn't get a lot of penetration. We didn't do a good enough job getting Gavin the ball inside. We've got to get Gavin the ball. More touches in the paint. You know, he ended up with 9 attempts, so we've just got to get him more attempts on a night in and night out basis. But again, credit Southern. I mean, they really showed toughness, and that they deserved to win. You know, I think, what was the biggest lead we had? 1 or was it 4? We had a 4-point lead. What was the score?
61-57.
Yeah, we had, you know, I was proud of our comeback after we let it come back. We had that 4-point lead. We took you know, got a bad turnover, a bad shot in the corner, right in front of the bench with a 2-point lead. We had a 2-point lead in front of the bench, 61, and we got to learn time and score. You know, some of our younger players don't understand time and score. You know, the flow of the game, you got to, okay, we got a 2-point lead, we got to grind out a possession and not just put up another shot. Questions?
I think for a lot of folks that came tonight on a Monday night, a pretty good crowd here on Monday night, but you know, the script was supposed to be Malik's debut and a big win and a good performance by him. How did you assess Malik's effort and play tonight?
I think his effort was fine. I mean, it just shows that, you know, he was out of practice for 3 weeks. Yesterday was his first practice. I probably, you know, well, we need him to come back. So, you know, we're putting him in. He's ready. But you can't have timing as a basketball player if you haven't been out there 5-on-5 practicing for 3 weeks. So, you know, his timing's going to be off, which is understandable. You know, his foul shooting. This guy is probably a 90% foul shooter for a lifetime of playing basketball, and he's 1 for 6. So, you know, he's you know, disappointed, I'm sure, in number 1 that we lost, but number 2 how he played. But he'll be fine. He's a great competitor and a tough kid, and you know, we need him.
You mentioned those turnovers. Was that more of credit to Southern and their defense, or was that just maybe mistakes on y'all's end?
Yeah, I would say I would credit them quite a bit for it, but also, you know, we've got to make the extra pass. You know, I thought that at times we're especially in driving, we're trying to force it, and they're helping. We've got to get better at learning how to penetrate, simple fundamentals, penetrate, jump stop, and make a play for somebody else, instead of trying to over-penetrate and then force turnovers, lose the ball, run people over, etc.
But the defense, is it the same thing you saw against Eastern Washington the first half? And if so, what's happening?
Our defense?
Yes, your defense, yes.
That it was different tonight. I just thought that, you know, they out-toughed us to some 50-50 balls. But I also say this, like when they're penetrating, we're rotating, there's too much penetration. We got to be able to flatten out drives better. But when they penetrate, we're not rotating down. We're not getting in front of their big. You know, we're not rotating back far enough. but we've got a lot of work to do. I would rather right now, instead of going to Puerto Rico, have 3 days of practice, but that's not what the schedule says. So we've got to get ready to play a really tough tournament. When what we really need right now, and after these first 2 games, is to have our guys, understand how much better we're going to have to get defensively to have a chance to compete in any of our games coming up. So that's the understanding now. I mean, that's what I told the guys after the game, is playing time is largely going to be dictated here moving forward on who's defending, who's getting the job done defensively, because that, going forward, is what you control the most as a team, and we got to get better that way.
Southern's coach said that maybe one of the effects of Malik being out of practice was that you're trying to figure out what your rotations were with those people on the fly kind of tonight. Did you kind of feel that as well?
Yeah, well, I mean, the rotation's new, because he didn't play in the scrimmage, the exhibition game, or our first game. So this is just not only his first game, official game, he hasn't played in the other 2, games that didn't count. One was a scrimmage and one was a exhibition. So this was, the first time he's been playing in a game with the rest of his teammates.
Did you see anything that you did like tonight? Is there anything that you
In terms of Malik, you mean?
Well, no, generally.
Well, I like their fight to come back, I mean, I like the fact that we, kept fighting back and had a chance. I mean, we had the ball with a chance there. We were pressing, we were scrambling around, we were making plays. We had the ball with a chance there. I think it was down 1 or 2 when we missed that shot. I think IJ put up a shot, I can't remember. I think it was IJ that really, but, actually, we had a good fight to come back when we're down, and I like that about our guys.
What was different about Gavin in the second half? Whether it was maybe he wasn't getting the ball more, or his mindset. What did you see that was different after?
I don't think
11
it's him as much as that we have to organize our offense better to get him the ball. That we were standing too much, they were switching a lot, and we were kind of dumbfounded by them switching so much. And a lot of teams are going to switch. You get used to that. We got to have better spacing on the floor. We were standing too much offensively in the second half. First half, we shot 50%. That wasn't the issue. We were down 5 because we couldn't get stops.
Do you guys feel like this is a wake-up call at all, or is this just a loss that you just need to get past and move through?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your statement to the second.
Is this game like, do you feel as if it's a wake-up
Well,
call?
I hope so. I mean, anytime you lose, it should hurt. I mean, now the real key is how do we respond to adversity? This is an adversity to lose at home to a team from the SWAC that we're supposed to beat, quote unquote. But what it tells you is the great parity in college basketball. You look around the country, I mean, how many quote unquote upsets there have been here in just the first couple of days of the regular season. Anybody can beat anybody on a given day. That's unless you're in the top 10, and even then it can happen. I mean, Texas Southern beat Michigan State last year. They went to the Final Four. So you got to know that as a player and as a coach. Every time we have to respect everyone, fear no one. And I don't think that had anything to do with lack of respect. They just out-toughed us and outplayed us. And I don't know. I mean, like you're saying, it was a great crowd for a Monday night. I mean, it was a phenomenal crowd Friday night. I can't answer, why we didn't come out with more fire and intensity and toughness. And so, bottom line, that comes back to me. I have to do a better job instilling that in our guys and getting them to understand. You got to show up every single time, or you will get beat.
Coach, in terms of going forward, especially the next 2 or 3 games, how many minutes would you like for Malik to get? Is there something in your mind, or you just kind of got to see on how he?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, we'll just see. In other words, it's going to take him time to get back. I mean, in other words, right now he's not playing to the level and not out there like he normally is because he was out for 3 weeks. So it's going to take him some time to get back to his timing and what he can do. And he's going to get there, but it's going to take some time. So we'll evaluate that. I'm going to go watch the film right now and watch that. But in fairness to him, it's very difficult to be out for 3 weeks. Now, he started doing some stuff on the floor, I think on Wednesday of this week. Let's see, today's Monday of last week, but it's not the same than playing. Yesterday, we had an hour and 40-minute practice, and he was out there, but wasn't up and down, and that makes a big difference when you're going up and down. It was day before a game, so we're basically keeping it in the half court, so we're not going to tire our guys out. And I may have gone too long yesterday, going an hour and 40, hour and 45.
Does he still get any treatment for his injury?
Oh, yeah, every day. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I got to check my train right now to see how he is after the game. I mean, you know, that's a thing where, when you're out for 3 weeks and you don't get up and down, you're not doing a lot of running, yeah, it's hard to step into a game where all of a sudden you're running up and down and you're playing at this level.
One more question?
Talk about that for Malik, being tough for him to get back in. How tough is that for the rest of the guys that haven't been on the floor with him 3 weeks? We talk about chemistry a lot, as Rogers does.
Yeah, you know what, I don't think it was a chemistry issue. I think it was, number one, we were very poor defensively, and number two, we had way too many turnovers. So we gotta do a better job at both ends of the floor. They, you know, 19-8, they had 11 more possessions than we did in it being a 4-point game. I mean, you're not gonna win many games having 11 more, less possessions than your opponent in that category right there. And our goal is to have 12 or less. And they shot 47% for the game, and it's too high.
Coach, you talk about the tournament, Puerto Rico tournament.
Sure.
Just, I guess Miami first and what you've been able to see on them so far.
I haven't seen anything on them at all. I mean, my whole focus has been Southern, so I'll start watching them tomorrow as we travel. Tomorrow's a travel day. I have assistant coach, 2 assistants actually, video coordinator and assistant, who are breaking them down, and I've been watching film on them and have a good feel for them already. But my focus is always, you know, the game we're playing. I'm not looking ahead. So I just know from last year, having watched them, they're really good. They have 2 fifth-year seniors that start, 2 4-year seniors that start. They're really good on the perimeter. They're a veteran team. They have everybody back from last year, a team that just missed the NCAA tournament. So we've got our hands full.
I know obviously you said you want to go out and win every game, but what do you specifically want to see from your team in this 3-game event?
I want to see us get better defensively. And obviously, we want to win, just like, as you pointed out, we want to win. And doing both those, and they go hand in hand. And so, you know, again, I probably have not, you know, I'm quote unquote a defensive coach. It all starts right here. I got to do a better job, you know, teaching and breaking it down and really emphasizing it. And that will be when we get back, you know, after our trip. We're going to actually travel on Monday, a week from today, have Tuesday off, and then we'll get back to practice Wednesday and Thursday. And I think we play, is it Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
Saturday. So we'll have 3 days of practice to really try to emphasize this. And we'll practice here coming up on Wednesday. We'll have a spirited hour-and-a-half practice where it's going to be primarily all, you know, I shouldn't say all, because we got to get, you know, we got to get better all around. But defense is where it starts.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
If you didn't see it,